Hello and welcome to DCP Live episode number 321, where we got a bunch of stuff to talk about and there's a bit of lore. It's one of those episodes. It's a lot of,
Haven't you heard? Nobody likes the lore, Tefty.
Is that what's going on?
I have heard that.
Is that word on the streets?
God, I can finally quit and play the game.
Are you retiring now? You can you retire from the lore and be like, bad guys, space, enemies, magic, boom, that's it.
Just do the PPUs. Yep. Everyone would still play the game if there was no story. That's the truth of it.
True.
Big white ball versus
that's what we did in Destiny 1, right?
Counterpoint.
Not true.
A lot of people currently only play the game for the story. Because that's where we're at right now.
Is that right?
Yeah, it's like probably the lore community
sense.
just chilling, having a good time over here, and then they're like, hey, we're unhappy. Fucking you should be unhappy too. Nobody likes your dog shit. Anyway, that's just a bit of Twitter drama for you.
There's honestly a lot of reasons to play the game. Like, I know I've used it a lot as like a social gathering place, right? It's like just like hardly even playing the game, just walking through a strike, chatting with your buddies. Sometimes it's fun with the Crucible. Sometimes it's fun, just to, grind, like kind of absent-mindedly grind. There's a lot of reasons to play Destiny.
Spend your bright
dust.
dust.
The more that I'm well and hooked into Destiny at the moment, and I feel bad. I'm like, okay, I'm one of the addicts now because the more I play, the more I want to get, the more I want to just do mindless activities to get new drops. I'm like, oh, I'm deep in it. Please send help.
Melanie needs help. Send a koala.
I can help you. Have you tried playing 6 hours of PB?
No, I have not.
And that's your only option, Mylan. Just one day and see if you're like, maybe we can go talk about the lore.
Which hour does insanity start setting in? Where you're like,
maybe like 15 minutes.
15 minutes in? Wow.
Which hour did you open your first bottle of booze?
Within 30 minutes?
Fair.
What all are you enjoying,
There's
Mylan?
good news about Crucible this week, huh?
Yeah, that's true. There's lots to talk about in the Crucible. But Mylan, real curious though, like what is it that's keeping you real? Like
well, here's the thing.
What's the specifics? Yeah,
and I've literally fallen in the trap that I'm most critical of Destiny players for, and that's fear of missing out. And coming up to Lightfall, I'm like, FOMO. What's happening to all those seasonal activities that are disappearing? Like, can we still craft those weapons? And I was like, oh, well, I better craft all those weapons now. So I'm trying to cram 12 months of crafting into like 4 or 5 weeks before Lightfall. And just, I don't know, making that something to do. And
that's a lot too. If you got to craft all that stuff, that is a lot of grind.
Yeah. At the very least, I'm just doing the guaranteed like red borders. Like you just sort of do those and get through it that way. And I've been doing all my normal dungeon stuff and all that kind of thing. Yeah. So.
Do you feel
what's going on with your headset? Like you got like a flag hanging off.
Dude, you want to see this? This headset is like falling apart.
Oh God!
For our listeners, Mylan's earmuff thing just completely dropped.
Look, it's absolutely destroyed.
Can someone please send Mylan a headset?
Poor Mylan.
Steel Series, come on!
Headset for Mylan out here.
Get a sponsorship going.
Get him one of them nice Tritons,
I do enjoy the chin strap though. This comes with a built-in chin strap for the headset. It's pure try-hard gamer mode.
I can't remember how they did that. Oh, I did like this. So this is meant to be the headband to adjust it, but you can also make it loose and then do that.
It looks like wrestling headgear.
Yeah. Day one raid headset.
That's how he gets all the big ideas for the raid. I figured it
out. Or a toothache.
Yeah.
Yeah, either one.
That's great.
Hey, good headset.
Awesome.
Long time.
Recommend it. You got an affiliate link for that headset?
Oh, God. No, but I've been having fun.
That's great.
Grinding Destiny. But yeah, it's like anything when you're playing Destiny. It's like you got to make your own fun if you're streaming and you're just doing like craftable stuff. So
true,
definitely.
Yeah, discussion topics and all that kind of stuff.
No, yeah, fair enough on that. What's the haps with the lore this week?
The lore, pretty
More
big.
hats.
Yeah,
Pretty
we
big.
finished
Did
up
you
that
hear
mission.
Did you hear any whispers? Any whispers of the lore this week? Did you know? What
I
happened?
heard Rasputin proposed to Anna. They are now in a relationship.
Really? I didn't hear that.
The Raspberry Bray?
There was a yeah.
The radio call, is that what you're talking about?
Yes.
Yeah, it was pretty emotional between Rasputin and Anna Bray in the radio call, which leads into the law book. Did you peek the law book this week?
Well, I'm going to be honest with you.
No, I
I've never looked at the lore.
I've not once looked at a lore book and Destiny.
I used to read all of them. I don't anymore.
That's why I'm here. That's why I'm
That
here.
stopped this season, actually.
I like to keep it
Anyway,
interesting by guessing what's going to happen without reading it.
Yeah.
That's a better way to
That's
do
a
it.
good idea. The law book overall is like Rasputin's Dear Diary. It's literally like titled Soul. It's like Dear Diary. Like it's his internal thoughts around certain events. And it also hinted at being restricted from Anna Bray and other people. So it is like his personal diary. And it goes each week goes through a different entry. Starting from his creation to being taught stuff by Anna Bray to the collapse to the being isolated to Fellwinter to the arrivals. And then this week was labeled death. And the subject line was something, I'm just trying to find the exact quote, but it was something along the lines of like accepting that, I need to find the actual quote. I hope it's on Ishtar Collective. And it implied that he was going to sacrifice himself or that this was the end of Rasputin, which is why all of the lore videos this week and even like Aztecross and myself and other people were saying Rasputin's going to die because it was almost like, I'm choosing to sacrifice myself. And that sort of fits in with the idea of how you would fight back against Ziva Arath. Because when you fight back against Zivu, she gets stronger because she has to test her strength, and so that feeds her worm. We got that information last week as well, so it was sort of doubling down the idea that how do you fight against a god of war? And it keeps getting stronger the more you fight back. Good example was with Sagira and Osiris. When you look at when Sagira died, that specific scene, when Osiris like starts killing everything and getting stronger and stronger, Ziva gets stronger and stronger too. And then she just basically slams him against the wall and he can't do anything. The way they got out of that
scenario. If we have to defeat her with the power of love, I'm going to be kind of upset about it.
No, you know what it is?
Like if this ends up being like a book 7 Harry Potter ending, I'm going to be like, oh, this.
No,
well, I mean,
it's going to be like
a hard thing, right?
It's going to be like Holtzman and Guarding Con. We have to fight her with a deck of magic cards.
That makes sense.
We have to battle her in magic.
Yeah, pretty much. The best response I saw, like when I made a video about that, was someone's like, "No, we're just gonna stand on 3 plates simultaneously while calling out double donger dragon symbol. Yeah, what symbol you got?" And shoot a whole bunch of hive runes. That will drain her power, war, whatever, and then she'll go away. But I guess it, like you say, it provides an interesting idea of how do we have a looting shooter and a boss that we can't shoot, which makes me think that maybe we won't actually fight her, but I hope that we do see an appearance from Zivu. But the way that Sagira like managed that situation is she just like sacrificed herself, right? She used the light, she cleansed all these like rituals. It got rid of Zivu. So this sort of premise of sacrifice might be a way to at least halt Zivu. And when you think about where we are in the story right now, we're at a stalemate where we've got the war sats. We can't use the war sats because that would basically trigger a ritual for Ziva Arath to invade.
Sacrifice.
So I sort of interpreted that thing. What's that?
Raid mechanic. Sacrifice. Someone's got to get sacrificed to unlock DPS.
You just pop. You just the person just goes. Boop.
Yeah, poof. Your character actually gets deleted, so it's kind of hardcore.
Yeah. I mean, all those deleted accounts. Maybe that's the Xivu sacrifice.
Can we just pause to talk about that for a second? Like, what is going on with the deleted accounts? And like Bungie saying, "Nah, that's
Nothing
fake."
Apparently.
People just lie.
There was one guy.
Did one person just pull a Pope Bear and say that the account got deleted, but actually they
No,
sat on the controller and it like deleted it?
Character deleted, right? It's just all the others weren't true.
Oh, so one person really did have it deleted, yeah.
It was a very, very special case and not a widespread issue.
Special case.
Yeah.
He was cheating?
No.
Or he was
they reinstated his account.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, they had to manually do it.
Wow.
Yeah, I've just taken screenshots of all my god rolls just in case my account gets deleted. So Bungie can reinstate.
Never mind
all
the
my
clear
crafted
signs
weapons.
of photoshopping.
Yeah. Bungie's like, we totally don't have multiple backups of everything. Totally don't. Snapshots.
So yeah, that's sort of. I mean, now we've got to have a bit of a break for the story, and they've said that the last 2 weeks is going to be an event leading into Lightfall. So, we're still at a stalemate with the war sats. We still haven't put Rasputin up there and in control of it. So, I'm hoping there will be a showdown between Xivu and Rasputin. I think it might not be combat, like I guess maybe not combat directly against Xivu. Maybe we'll just see a snippet of Xivu, maybe a cutscene, something like that, and then they've got to lead into Neomuna somehow on Neptune. So
there it is.
We've got to get that information from that.
Neomuna has the answer. Too. They've got the answer to fight without fighting, and that's why, because they've been hidden for so long.
That's when Aphrodite comes and she's like, "Hey, I've been passive for a while.
Kill him with kindness.
I can help.
Killing him with kindness.
We need to do a dance battle. I'm telling you.
Yeah,
dance battle's the way.
So I just brought up the lore entry because I couldn't get Ishtar, so I had to log in. But the one I'm talking about, the subject line from Rasputin is called "Reflection on the End as I Choose to Die."
Yeah. Yeah. And the message was definitely very like him saying goodbye almost. Was him being like, "Thanks for everything." Thanks
yeah,
for
I mean, I can read it. It's a very
feeling.
short. It's like a little poem. It says, "Do not weep as I reach into the black. Pain does not become, and duty keeps straight my back. I choose this life as sacrifice, and there is nothing to be done. While even shadows leave in darkness, I await you at the sun. Now finish it, as Tourniquet, I've proven it. Humanity's trust I've won." It sounds like he's gonna kill himself. Sacrifice himself.
And war mind cells are going, which I've heard means Rasputin's dead.
Don't trigger people, please. Please. So, and then obviously had a pretty emotional radio call. So I don't know. It looks like maybe at the very least he's going to sacrifice that network, the war mind. And I think narratively it would make sense to get rid of the Warsat network because it's one of those like things that are too powerful in the universe. Like if we had Rasputin in control of it, then we'd just literally just blow everything up every time.
Yeah,
just space lasers.
It sounds more. It's just like you said. It sounds like his main protocol of controlling that network is going away, but he's going to get. I think, anyways, narratively, he's going to get resurrected in an exo body that's going to be like Fellwinter or whatever, and become like a split off into post Warsat Warmind version of Rasputin.
Yeah. Yeah, because you spoke a lot about, like this week, I think it was, he didn't know how to solve this problem, and he's, a war mind, and this is very odd for him to try to solve a situation which is not just like shoot it with lasers, like blow it up.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
So they'll get rid of the
other big thing, another huge bomb. So that was, I just thought that was really cool. But the other massive thing is, confirms in the mission this week that never shot the Traveler, like put to bed the theory that that he shot the Traveler down. Basically admits, I was planning on doing it, then I didn't do it. I didn't pull the trigger, all because of the way Anna Bray had taught me, all these things and
taught him humanity.
Decided not to. So, been waiting for that since 2015.
Yeah.
Wow. Yeah,
so now now the mystery is what did happen to the Traveler, right?
Yeah. Well, we don't. Yeah. Yeah, that's true. We don't really know
the Traveler's just like derelict for no reason, or for a reason we don't know, right?
Yeah, I mean, it's just basically you think it's just whatever happened with the collapse, the darkness, and the arrival of the pyramid ships. I think the other thing in there is we know that from Witch Queen, Savathun played a part in there somewhere and did something to save humanity. That's from the Worm Quest. So that's, don't know if it has anything to do with it, but yeah, still a big question mark over exactly what happened during the collapse.
Yeah.
I am working on another video, but I'm just going to teach you because we don't have much time today. Neomuna. The Neomunians, population of Neomuna, are raised by Exos. That's the point. That's the hook.
Raised by Exos.
Yep.
New HBO show.
Yep. Yeah. What is that?
Honestly,
show? Is there
a little bit. Yeah.
A little bit. Raised by robots.
Raised by wolves.
Raised by wolves.
Yep.
Yeah. That's right.
It's a little bit like that.
Okay.
Got canceled.
Oh, what was it? Was it called Mother? Wasn't there something called? Was it called Mother?
She was called Mother in the show.
Maybe I'm thinking of that.
Yeah, they canceled season 3, unfortunately.
Wow. Maybe I should have watched season 2.
Well, it kind of goes off the rails in season 2. Anyways, we're getting to sidetracked.
My bad.
That's exciting. When is that video coming out?
Sunday night, US. Yep.
Sunday night. So I have to choose between watching Last of Us or your video.
Oh, definitely watch Last of Us.
Know when your videos are going to come out.
I'm excited about that, man.
Neo Minions.
Someone said Newmans. Newman.
All right. Well,
you're put up.
Thank you very much.
Good stuff. So that concludes the story, though, or that not the story, but like the main mission arc for this season, right? So now we're waiting on
until the final 2 weeks. Yeah.
Because basically Raspin said it's still not repaired. Keep gathering sub-1 data.
Of course.
So that's like it's still just in limbo. We keep doing the repetitive seasonal activity until we've got enough data. I think he'll get the data. He'll get into the Warsat. He'll destroy the Warsat network. Sacrifice, enter state, stop ZV a little bit longer, and they'll discover the Neomuna location from the data as well.
Yeah.
Which
also,
we know is in there.
The cloud folks are real tall.
Yep, we already knew that. Yep, from the Livefall
real tall.
Live stream they did, they was talking about how Cloud Striders are tower over Guardians at, 7-8 foot,
They
something like that.
sure do.
Descendants from Spartans? Little tie-in from the Halo universe? Maybe not.
Maybe. Well, maybe not anymore after what happened. Anyway.
True. Maybe it's a split timeline. Elsie could tell us about that. Split timeline.
Yeah, split timeline. Yep.
We have a lot to talk about in terms of info this week. Should we get right to it?
So much. So obviously there was a trailer that came out. I don't think we can really get it that much. It was cool. I like the trailer. Neomuna looks great. There's apparently a Poke Pond, with the fish ghosts.
Nice.
Where there's a warlock meditating. That's nice.
I like it.
Callus looks like he's either going with a tiny mouth or has a big bunny tooth.
I don't know what's going on.
He's totally a deranged bunny.
He's a deranged bunny with a bucket on his head.
Yeah.
What's going on?
Is it a tooth?
He's Goward and Perfected. I don't know. Goward and Perfected is a bunny boy. Goward and Perfected is a bunny boy.
It's exactly what you would think if you gave Rob's helmet to Callus's shaped head. It just looks like a bucket.
Yeah, it does. It looks like a bucket, and he's just because he's so squished in there, his lips have gone, and he's just there with his little tongue, like he's blepping at us. He's like a cute cat. Adorable.
Yeah.
Anyway, so that's my that's the TLDR on the trailer.
Yeah, we sort of got a glimpse of probably what the vendor will be, or the main sort of Cloud Strider would be too. This sort of very cyberpunky looking Cloud Strider.
Also, a
cool.
lot of the areas remind me of Titan.
Mm.
A lot of Titan-looking stuff in there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Nice and pristine.
We want to go into the build
Armor?
crafting evolve.
Yeah, build crafting. Yep.
Here we go.
Alright, I'm ignoring the TLDR. We ain't TLDRing, or we could only TLDR.
It's true.
So loadouts. They talk about loadouts. They want to make it to where we can quickly swap sets of entire gear without numerous trips to the vault. And they show the loadout screen.
It's finally happening.
It looks good.
Yeah.
And they also did say that you will be able to not only save your loadout with your class and your weapons and your mods and all that stuff, but you will be able to save your ornaments, your transmog, your shaders. All of that will be saved in one.
That is awesome. That is great. That increases the
Yeah.
usability of this game so much.
Yeah.
Will it pull? Does it say if it'll pull? Like, say you put one thing that you want for a specific loadout into the vault. Will it pull things from the vault to put it in your loadout, or does it have to be on your character?
It
I'm
will,
assuming from the
because
vault.
if it doesn't, this is the worst implementation of this system
Dead on
ever
arrival.
in any video game. Let me use Dim to pull all of the things to my character so I can press loadout in the game.
That would be pretty bad, yeah.
That would be terrible.
But it's like you said, mods and all that. So if you want to do a rocket launcher loadout, or if like linear fusion and type of thing, you can have that all set up for your mods and not have to worry about. I mean, that's such a pain in the ass when you just want to dick around and then like you're like, oh, I gotta switch this stuff around. Like, it's great to just click a button and have that all happen.
I wonder if there'll be restrictions on where you can be, like if you have to be in orbit.
Because that's what it is with Dim, right? Yeah.
Yeah.
Makes sense.
Yeah. I wonder if you have to be in orbit or if you can be mid-activity and be like, oh, these guys are sweating in PvP. Let me switch to DMT Titan. Bang.
Yeah. That'd be nice if you could do it in activities, because you could change on the fly in all activities, which would be nice. It would also enable you to do like a gun game kind of thing. You could have everyone set up, in a private match with a loadout for a gun game, and people could just press it as they go through. Which would be nice.
I'll get the honor system on that.
They don't kick them. Ban them. Ban them from chat. Ban them from podcast. Ban them from Spotify. I don't know if you can do that. Ban them from everywhere.
Ban them from Spotify.
Yeah, ban them from Spotify.
No music for you, motherfucker.
Ban them from Napster. You're done. Yeah, this is exciting. I can't believe it's been 8 years.
This is great.
It's
yeah. Hey, whatever. Though, I'll take it now.
Thank you. Yes, definitely.
Yep.
Awesome to see.
They also did say that when you get to, you're going to unlock loadouts. So you can have up to 10, and you're going to unlock them as you progress your Guardian ranks. And then they also said that when you're at Guardian rank 6, which is all of us who are players who have played for a while will start at 6 at least, you will have access to all mods.
Nice. Question.
Of the standard mods.
Did they clarify 10 ranks for the account or character? Or 10 slots?
Well, I think Guardian rank is account.
Okay.
It says, okay, so there was a new Destiny 2 team Twitter, which is to answer all of the questions not from anyone's personal account. And they said you will be able to have up to 10 loadouts per character.
Wonderful.
Oh, they confirmed it. Nice.
They did.
Okay, great.
Is beautiful. That is plenty of loadouts for each character. Yeah.
Yep.
Cool.
Great.
Yeah. Good stuff.
Yeah, that's an excellent upgrade.
Mm-hmm.
Thank goodness. So you're going to be able to create builds much easier, because in this whole thing that they've built, like you can see your stat allocation on one side. So you can be like, because currently I'm like, I go into arms and I'm like, wait, how much recovery do I have? How much discipline? What do I need? I don't know. So this is going to make it so much better. You can see all the information you need is going to be on the screen.
It's streamlined. So you can finally just have like here's all your details on there, as opposed to having to hover over each piece,
So good.
I hope the API has access to the system so that you can like sit back with your iPad and just kind of like, like really kind of
build craft on the couch.
Yeah, totally.
Or
like
build craft away from the game. Yeah.
You remember like
nice.
way back in Destiny 1, there's always pictures of like people like on Dim, like somebody over the shoulder looking at somebody at a meeting with Dim on their laptop.
Yeah.
Remember that kind of stuff?
Yep. Well, if it's on your phone, you can easily just be in line, and if you happen to be in line somewhere and mess with your loadout, see if you can get that perfect stat roll or whatever. When it's all combined, yeah. Cool.
Next we have mod application details. Mod energy types are being removed, eliminating the need for 4 different versions of a given armor piece for build crafting purposes.
Wonderful.
So that's good. I like that because all the time I'm like,
Huge.
gotta change the arms to stasis because I need to have the stasis grenade mod. And,
well,
good stuff.
This is such a barrier for loadouts. Like this is the main barrier for loadouts because you end up having to have loadouts that don't dip into the same armor. Otherwise, your whole build gets wrecked because you need solar on arms or you need stasis on arms or whatever. So
yeah,
I'm glad they got rid of it because loadouts are inhibited by energy type.
But on top of that,
much.
Strand
This
is going to come
opens it
out,
up.
and then Strand would dictate another avenue of different things to have specifically. So it'd just be like, oh boy.
I'm probably like,
Yeah,
this
that's
is
true. I
dumb.
didn't
Get
think
rid
of
of
that.
it. We don't want to figure out what Strand does. Just,
Yeah.
Too hard.
yeah, no thanks.
Too much.
And then the
No thanks.
6th darkness class comes out, and then another one they have to do. So yeah, this is
Yeah, I
smart.
go, this is me build with me stasis arms. This is me build with me strand arms. This is me build with me voodoo arms. Like, come on.
Yeah. They were also converting the combat style socket into an additional mod socket for that armor slot, helmet, gauntlets, etc. We're also reducing the energy cost of many of those mods, helping give you more opportunities to mix and match. So combat style socket into an additional mod socket for that armor slot, a helmet slot, a gauntlet slot. Additionally, armor mods that previously provided benefits based on their archetype, for example, hand cannon loader, will now instead provide benefits to weapons based on their damage type. This levels the playing field for all weapon archetypes and should make it easier to put together a powerful suite of mods to benefit multiple weapons in your loadout. So D2 Year 1, kinetic loader.
Okay.
I would assume in regards to like special stuff, it would make more sense to have special ammo loader than like solar loader, void loader, because you can have a void hand cannon and a void sniper, and they are very different.
Yeah, that would stink.
So having something, if it takes special ammo, this is it. If it takes not special ammo, then this is it.
Cool.
So you're gonna want to like ideally, well, no, because you. Okay.
I think it's just saying they're gonna consolidate it, and hopefully you don't have to think too much about getting the exact loader on.
Well, my problem before
and cover multiple things.
My problem before was I'd switch to say like a hand cannon, and then I have to go in and be like, where the hell is the hand? No, not the holster. And we got the reload. There it is, the reload. So this will just condense a bunch of those icons down. So but also if you're using loadouts, it won't even matter in there either.
I don't know where it comes up, but they do want you to sort of double down on, I think when they talk about match game, on your build built into an element type. So
it might be solar loader,
about damage type. Yeah, I think it will be like solar loader. So if you have a solar heavy on and a solar SMG, they're both going to benefit from the loader.
Man, if that's the case, you're gonna go through those 10 loadouts pretty quick because you're gonna want like 4 at 5 for different damage types. Plus, you're gonna want like a couple of PvP builds. Plus, you're gonna want like, I don't know, you're like sweaty, like I'm soloing this dungeon build.
It's gonna fill up fast.
A lot of builds.
We need more than 10, Bungie. Give us bloody 20, idiots.
Gonna need a staging.
10 is
Remember where
10
our
is more than I
started and where we are now.
Yeah.
You never know. It'll be okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. It's still dim.
That'll be interesting. Ideally it should make like targeting mods cheaper and like ammo finder and all that stuff because it will be solar targeting, I assume, or something like that.
Do we even know what's happening with them? Are they staying?
We have no idea. Honestly, can I be honest? I want to just get rid of reloader, ammo finder, scavenger, etc., because they are boring mods. Just make the ammo drop the way it drops. Make my weapon target the way it targets.
Yeah,
all weapons reload faster across the board.
Yeah, I mean, I don't want to be like, okay, well, I need this mod, this one, and this one, and this one, and this one. Now I can start building. Yeah. Exactly.
Yeah.
I want to start building right away.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah, leave the faster reload to a perk on the weapon. Yeah.
This sort of sounds like what they're trying to achieve, though. You know, they're trying to open it up by reducing costs and the way the mods are working. So I'm hoping that thought is also applied to those mods that have been around forever that feel like you have to have them on.
Yeah.
Yeah. Next, artifact mods are being translated to unlockable perks. Now, if you look at some of the images when it shows the loadouts, the first 2 images of loadouts, you can actually see in the background that it shows the artifact mods and also the champion stun in the background very lightly.
Yep.
So it is on that screen. You will be able to see that.
Cool.
Yep.
This is great. So you're no longer going to need to socket them. Instead, you're going to unlock them for the duration of the season once earned, and they will just be applied to your loadout.
Yep.
Nice.
So that was another huge barrier to making builds and loadouts. You get everything like picture perfect, and then you start doing end game like, okay, now I need to take off stuff to put on.
Yeah.
You know, stuff to deal with champions, and you don't have to do that anymore, which is great.
Yep. So you're going to have 12 perks, a pick 12 system, you could say, to have active at any given time. And of course, that would really suck if you had to reset every single time. Because currently we're in a state where you can unlock every single mod on the artifact and just like select it whenever you want. So it is going to be free to reset your artifact. Thank God.
Nice.
Because you're probably going to be doing that quite a lot if you can only have 12 active.
I mean, I don't think you got any more than 12. You're pretty much just going to activate all the champion mods, and then there's usually like 2 or 3 cracked ones in the last column, which you will always take, and then, you know, a couple ones in between.
And then it says, what does it mean for Artifice Armor's extra artifact mod?
Yep.
Starting in Lightfall, Artifice Armor will have a new unique mod slot that grants 3 additional points to your character stats like strength, mobility, intellect, etc. This will help you round out your stats as you perfect your builds.
I actually like there's also a lot of like criticism of this, but I think often I'm always like between 1 and 3 points off like the next tier, and I think it's not so much that it makes Artifice Armor like too powerful, but it's enough for me anyway to like grind it, I think.
Some of these changes further on may make it required as a hunter main, potentially.
Oh
with
yeah, you got
Artifice
thoughts.
mod.
Did they ever answer you about
Retroactive?
Yeah, like can we start getting Artifice Armor now?
No.
And
I did not. So I asked on Twitter if anyone could
answer?
just say, yeah, like I think this is a really important thing to clear up ASAP, because I would go and grind for Artifice Armor, because you don't just need the Artifice Armor, you need it with the stat allocation that you need. So it's going to be a lot of grinding.
and
So if it's
hits up this
retroactive,
week,
it's really
it's
important.
the best thing to do right now.
That's true. Yeah.
It's huge stats.
Yeah. So we don't know if it's going to be retroactive. I'm going to hope that it is, because they're not doing like something new with Artifice Armor. They're just making it to where that mod slot can only select like these stats.
Yeah, I think it'd be retroactive, but you never know with Bungie sometimes.
You never know. Yeah. You never know. Next, they're talking about match game. So they said that they are removing match game from high difficulty activities. Good. Match game isn't fun.
Yeah,
there is nothing fun about match game. It's annoying.
They've literally hit like all the barriers to making loadouts. This is another one of the things, like champions, match game, all this kind of stuff are all things that like slow loadouts down. It's pretty good.
Yeah, I definitely like this. So what they are doing is they're making a few tweaks to how you can do damage to different types of shields, and they're also making it to where base shield resistance to non-matching damage types across the entire game is being adjusted to 50%. So this is similar to Gambit. If you go play Gambit and you shoot something with a solar shield with like a primary weapon, that's kind of what you can expect in terms of shield strength.
Cool.
Yeah.
And they do say that we're going to have ways for you to do bonus damage to shields that they'll tell us about later. And that's good. I'm happy with that.
Yeah.
Next, we have mods. So of course you're going to be able to basically have every single mod unlocked at all times with the artifact change, but they're also making changes to how you can deal with the champions based on your subclass.
Yes.
So barrier champions, Solar
great.
Void, and Strand is going to be able to counter barrier champions. So volatile rounds will make your weapons pierce the barrier and stun them. When a player is radiant, you will pierce and stun them. And then Strand will have a thing, which they're not telling us about yet.
Okay.
Overload
Grapple 'em?
champions could be a grapple. Could be. Overload champions will be Arc, Stasis, and Void. So damaging an overload champion by triggering Jolt will stun them, or suppressing them will stun them, or slowing them with Stasis. Unstoppable champions are Arc, Solar, Stasis, and Strand. Blinding them will stun them. Encasing them in Stasis and shattering it, or triggering a Solar Ignition will stun them. And then Strand will have a thing that we don't know about.
Okay.
I love this.
I
love this a lot.
That's good.
I think already with just how strong abilities are, and they added more ways to deal with champions with exotics, like champions have just gone from being so painful to like tolerable, and I think this will just make champions like not impact your build. You have to consider them, but like then you're not going to have to change your build to deal with a champion, which is when they were at their worst, which is like, I have to use this to deal with this champion.
I have to use a pulse rifle and a scout rifle. Woo!
Yeah. Now it's most likely like you've got your build, you just got to throw the grenade at the right time. You know, now it's just about using your loadout in the right way to trigger a champion.
Yeah, I feel like I would opt for this way to deal with champions way more often than the standard mods at this point. Unless, of course, like higher level content where there's more champions, you're going to want to have more uptime for that. But I think in general, this is the way you're going to want to deal with champions here on out.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
It's a good way.
These are like the wish list of every. Like
it is good.
Surprisingly good. This
was a Bungie W. Rare Bungie W.
They're listening for PvE.
Sandbox team. Do be listening. I agree. So now we're talking about armor charge. I'm gonna read this slowly because it can get confusing.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm just gonna read it. Okay. With the combat mod socket going away, many mods that once belonged to Charge with Light and Elemental Well subfamilies of mods now fall under armor charge. So this is how it's gonna work. Socketing an armor mod that uses armor charge gives you access to the system. So you can think of this as like if you put taking charge right now, the mod on your helmet or whatever, if you pick up an orb, you get charged with light. And now you're in that charged with light kind of ecosystem. You just need other mods to actually do stuff with it. The functionality of taking charge, picking up an orb of power to gain 1 stack of the charge, is now granted to you whenever you have any armor charge mod equipped.
Nice.
That's great.
Yeah,
like
so you don't have to
so it
waste
means
the
you
mod.
don't need two things. You don't need to like something to make the orb. Oh, sorry. So, something to charge you with light, and then something to trigger charge with light. You just put the functional thing on, and you will automatically.
You don't have to buy the ticket to get in. You just walk in.
Yes.
You're in.
Yes.
You're in. You don't need a ticket. Good. Many mods that previously created elemental wells or gave you stacks of charge with light have been converted to instead create an orb of power. You can now hold between 0 and 3 stacks of armor charge by default, which appears as a buff in the status effects area.
Okay.
By socketing chest armor mods charged up, you can increase your maximum number of armor charge to 6. 6 is the max. You can hold 0 to 3 without this model. Some mods provide a passive ongoing benefit while you have any stacks of armor charge. When you have one of these armor mods equipped, every 10 seconds, a stack of armor charge falls off if not consumed. You got 10 seconds to use your shiz or you lose it. Players can...
If you've got something on that has a passive benefit.
Yeah, if it's a passive benefit. Players can extend this decay time by socketing the extended charge mod in the class item socket. I wonder how much you can extend it by. I don't know.
Yeah. So that's similar to what you would do with the stasis arms and whatever, time dilation, basically. This is like the new way to extend timers.
For example, Font of Wisdom in the head socket will provide a bonus gain to intellect while you have any armor charge active. So that's an example of the thing that will fall off after 10 seconds if you don't.
Yeah, so you get a bonus
passive.
intellect every 10 seconds until it decays away. Yeah.
Some mods consume 1, 2, 3, or all stacks of armor charge on a particular trigger, granting you an instantaneous benefit when they do. It's gonna be a mod. It's better be pretty bitchin' if it consumes 6.
Yeah, so I imagine
super do double damage.
Super bitchin'.
I imagine this is like what's the rocket launcher increased damage or whatever consumes a charge of light, whatever that would be. You know, if you don't have any passive things taking away and decaying your armor charge, I'm assuming you can still hold armor charge as long as you don't have those passive things, and then there'll be a trigger, and you release a stack.
That's what it sounds like, yeah.
Yeah.
A few other mods, Stacks on Stacks in the leg socket, Powerful Friends and Radiant Light in the head socket, Time Dilation in the class item socket, can modify the armor charge system for you without providing you with a specific benefit while you have armor charge.
Okay.
I see.
What does that mean?
I see some squinting and confusion.
So time dilation is now in the class, but they already. Oh, that's what they were talking about before. The extended, but there's an extended charge mod too in the class item socket.
Yes. Okay, here I'll read what Powerful Friends does, and maybe this will help a little bit. Okay. So Powerful Friends, when you become charged with light, nearby allies also become charged with light.
Sharing the love.
So this is saying, they modify the armor charge system for you without providing you with a specific benefit while you have armor charge. So maybe it's when you become armor charged, other people get like a stack of armor charge. Maybe that's the change. I don't know. I don't know. Honestly, I spent at least 45 minutes just talking about Powerful Friends when I went through this blog post. And the reason is, one, I'm not stoked about Radiant Light and Powerful Friends being in the head socket, because head socket is like you have your, plus 10 mobility. You have targeting. You have ammo finder. You have so many things that I generally don't put any of these mods on the head socket because it's a pretty sought after spot. It's got a lot of stuff in there. Also, it's later on in the TWAB, but they say that any mod that gives like a plus stat bonus, which Powerful Friends gives plus 20 mobility, Radiant Light gives plus 20 strength, these are going to be reduced. They don't say how much by, but we can only assume that based on what they've said in the TWAB, that Powerful Friends, Radiant Light, anything that gives plus to stats will at least be reduced, if not gone. Currently, Powerful Friends is the only way that hunters can get anywhere near having 100 mobility, 100 resilience, 100 recovery, which are all really important stats. So this feels like a little bit of a hit to hunter builds, because mobility is kind of like Titans and Warlocks ain't building mobility. Hunters are building resilience and recovery.
Right.
So I did put out a tweet earlier that I would really like for mobility to be like add something to mobility to make it an actual decision for other classes, or do something like if you pick Titan, you start with a base X amount of resilience. If you pick Warlock, you start with a base X amount of recovery. So it makes it easier for you to have more flexibility with your build, and not have to do like, okay, well, I need this, 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 and this. Now I can go have fun.
I just think the whole like mobility, resilience, and recovery being tied to a specific class regen is not the right direction.
Yeah.
Especially when you have very specific stats that are like advantageous, like resilience. It's like,
yeah, exactly.
And then you have a class like and recovery, like it's sort of like mobility either needs something else, or I think actually they just shouldn't be tied to class ability, and they'd be their own
Yeah.
stat in their own right. They'd do their own specific thing, and I think mobility needs. I don't know.
Yeah, they
It's hard
either
to
need to
prioritize
like
mobility over resilience.
they either need to buff it or be like, okay, the
Yeah.
system isn't really working for us anymore, so let's do something else. And they did say like a lot of people were like, what if we have aerial effectiveness linked to mobility? Because that seems like a pretty easy thing to think of. But then they said that would make hunters default best at in-air combat, and we don't want that. And I was like, but it's okay for Titans to have take less damage, have less flinch, and have that like what? Hello?
Yeah, and fucking zoom across the map with shield bashing. Which is why I'm a Titan now.
We'll see. No, we'll see what ends up going on there. But yeah, we don't. I have a lot of questions about this portion, like this specific thing, because they weren't very specific when they mentioned these mods. We don't know how they're changing, and then they're also making it to where, because right now, Powerful Friends and Radiant Light or whatever can be socketed in any place as long as it's arc, and then they're taking that restriction away and adding a new restriction of you can only slot it in the head socket.
Yeah.
So
this is the only thing that I like queried too. I was like, when they started saying that certain things can only go on certain sockets, I'm like,
yeah.
But it's also like a wait and see.
We will
well,
wait. We will wait and see.
Because if there's enough flexibility in everything else, it will just balance itself out and it'll be fine.
Right.
So
I think just the initial read is like you're getting rid of all these restrictions, and then is a restriction. Why? Yeah. So yeah.
Do they mention anything about class stat adjustments coming in Lightfall? Potentially, because I wonder if they're going to shift things around a little bit.
No, I don't think
the sandbox.
so.
Not on this one anyway.
Yeah.
Yeah. And another good thing is finishers will now consume armor charges and not dip into super energy.
Nice.
So this is
huge.
really nice for those builds.
Nice. That's actually
Yeah, very nice.
Often as a Titan, if I miss my hammer, then all of a sudden I can't do my build because my only build is hit stuff with a hammer. That finisher to get back your melee charge is really, really good. It's nice not to dip in his super now.
Yeah, that's actually really good. That opens that up quite a bit for a lot of other things.
Next, we have Elemental Wells Evolved. While many of the mods that previously created or benefited from Elemental Wells are being changed to instead focus on Orbs of Power, some aspects of Elemental Wells aren't going away entirely. Instead of creating Elemental Wells, each subclass will now create damage type specific spawned objects. So Ionic Traces for Arc, Fire Sprite for Solar, Void Breaches for Void, Stasis Shards for Stasis, and then Strand will have a thing. So we have some examples of this already being in the game. Like you can already make Ionic Traces, you can already make Stasis Shards. So
yeah,
these will, I assume, be like the same.
Is a Void Breach a Void Buddy?
I don't know what a Void Breach is.
I don't know what a Void Breach is.
Because if you could make a Void Buddy, that'd be kind of nuts. Spawning it randomly.
Well, it's gonna be like
you pick it up and it.
You pick it up, or like Ionic Traces, and Stasis Shards. I imagine they look like that. It's like an object.
Okay, that makes sense.
Yeah.
The ability to spawn these objects will not come from armor mods, but from your subclass instead. For example, while the Ember of Tempering fragment is active, and chat told me what Ember of Tempering does, when you kill something with a solar weapon, that is when it's active. Use a solar weapon and
Okay.
It will now create a fire sprite when you defeat an enemy with a solar weapon. So you kill something with a solar weapon, you get the fragment active, and then you kill another thing, and it will create a fire sprite. As far as I can tell.
And this gives you ability energy. Picking up objects will grant you ability energy.
Yeah, like the well before.
Like the wells used to do. Yeah. At first, when I started reading this, I was like, oh, okay, they're gonna like limit, because when you have wells, you basically just chain all your abilities together. You have melee well maker on punch something, and you get 2 wells, and you throw a grenade, get more wells, you get it back, and you just rotate through them. So I thought they were gonna maybe limit that, but I mean, it seems like this stuff will give you ability energy too. So
yeah, it seems like an interesting evolution of that mechanic. I hope it doesn't become like a nuisance to have to use them.
I don't think so.
Because I do like the system of just making a well, running over it, and then continuing with whatever loop that you're doing for combat. But yeah, I'll be curious to see how that plays out.
Yeah. So it's gonna, yeah, it'll give you ability, energy, or have other effects. And then they give an example. If you're running a solar subclass and you have the new Ember of Mercy fragment equipped, picking up a fire sprite will grant you the restoration effect. The number of these types of interactions will be limited at launch, but they will add to it.
Wow.
This was the only other thing that made me go, because if you pick up a fire sprite, you're going to have restoration, and there's already a lot of healing and over shields and all of that stuff in PvP, so adding another thing that is going to be healing people makes me a little
Void Breaches
questioning.
grants you Devour?
They might.
Upon
Yeah, they
running
very well may.
over? I'd be up for that.
They very well may.
The overall impression I get is separating ability spam from armor charge, because in the current system, right, I can spam hammers, I can make elemental wells, which gives me abilities, but also gives me charge of light, font of might, like triggers everything else too. So now it's like you spam your abilities, yeah, you get abilities back fast by making these objects, but I'm assuming you need Orb of Power to trigger. Everything else is now bundled into Orbs of Power. So you need ways of making Orbs of Power, so you probably have to shoot stuff.
Yeah.
So those two systems are quite separate now, which is fine, because I think I should use my weapons more often.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see what an effect this has.
Bonking everything.
Well, that's why I liked volatile rounds, because it's weapon based. But then they're like, volatile rounds be too volatile rounded. And I was like, okay.
It'd be too much.
It do be too volatile rounded.
It do be. Throw your grenades instead. Thank you. And here it says balancing act. While the main goals here were to streamline the build crafting experience, we also had to do some tuning while we were under the hood to address some of the power spikes certain build combinations created. As we said previously, we looked at every single mod, and some were changed, moved to other slots, transitioned to other abilities, or removed. With the removal of armor energy type and the consolidation of mechanics into armor charge, some mods became redundant and were removed. Some ability energy gains, stat bonuses, and weapon damage bonuses from mods have been reduced, though we've also added some new mods to expand your build possibilities. And it basically just says, some of your builds are going to suck, you're not going to be able to recreate them, you got to make new ones.
Yeah, you're going to really have to look at your builds again after this, for sure.
It's going to be a very interesting raid, like day one, with making brand new builds.
True.
We're all going to take Stranded anyway, just to be unique.
Yeah, I'm just going to be swinging everyone. See what happens.
It's
and Warmind cells are dead, by the way. Okay.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, they killed him.
You continue.
Warmind cells are gone.
Raspy's dying, Warmind's gone.
They're consolidating everything for how the armor charge system works. So, wells aren't really there. Warmind cells aren't going to be there. So it's going to be Orbs of Power. Imagine day one, Lightfall. You log in, you get the cutscene, you touch down, you're like, hold on, give me 1 hour to reinforce my entire build.
I gotta set up 6 loadouts for every character. I gotta really go over this new mod system. Yeah. I don't know what's going on with my armor.
You probably got a Cyrus with some background dialogue. Oh, welcome to Neomuna. This is the great. Like, shut up! I'm trying to get me loadout.
Keep it down.
Simmer down there, simmer pants. Simmer down. And then it just says that you're gonna have questions. Shut up and play the game when it's out, idiots. Stop asking questions.
Yeah.
Verbatim.
Paraphrase.
We're what? A month away?
A
month and a few days?
A month and a week.
What day does it come out?
Comes out on the 28th. Yeah, so we're close.
We're close.
Actually, a month and a week and a half.
Guys, I got to get back to grinding. We're going. We need to get it for this podcast.
You got to unlock those patterns, man. Get to crafting.
Yeah. But I'm looking forward to, like, there's a couple things that I'm concerned about, especially with the mobility stuff, but I'm excited to, like, make builds from scratch, basically.
This is a well-needed change in Destiny.
It is.
Like,
we need a shake-up.
It seriously needs it. Like, it feels very antiquated, and just like the the loot / vault system feels really antiquated when you consider that you have to use dim all the time. So really happy to see loadouts coming.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, this was
Yeah.
all like generally really good. And
Yeah.
I'm happy with it.
Yeah. There's going to be a lot of new people trying out Destiny as well. So it'll be good that this is in there. They can.
Oh my God.
Mm-hmm.
Sorry. Okay. Bungie Twab. What is the picture at the top? Anna Bray saying goodbye to Rasputin, man.
Wow.
Everyone's crying.
Yeah.
Look at the guy
Everybody's
on the
pulling
bottom
him
right
apart.
crying.
Sacrificing himself.
Why are they grabbing onto him? They're saying,
It's
"Don't
artistic.
leave."
It's
Don't
artistic.
they have a backup with the
what's
code?
with the like angel wing on the left? What's that?
Right? Don't they keep backups?
Yeah. Is there no like backup drive?
Gotta get an ass.
Aren't seraphs angels?
Oh yeah, Charlie's
I think-
Angels.
Yeah.
Seraph.
Oh, yeah.
Seraphs.
All right, that was the short twab. Now let's get to the long one.
Yeah. Now
Yeah.
extended bonus twab.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Woo woo woo.
I'll be honest. I
yeah.
thought that the main twab was that article, and that this week's twab was then going to be light. So I didn't really read what came out today. So I was surprised.
Well,
Get
good
your
news for
popcorn
you.
out.
Yeah.
Get your popcorn out. So a lot of the first part is like, hey, there was a trailer. Hey, there's spell crafting. So we're gonna get to the short stuff. Red border drop rates on January 18th. The change went live that makes it easier for players to get red borders. Bada
Nice.
bing, bada boom. Also, there's gonna be weapon crafting changes coming in Lightfall.
Yo, faster dredge and tidal gilding?
Yeah. Build
Let's
faster.
go, Guardians.
Please.
Blues are going away at soft cap. Woo!
Yay.
Woo! Get screwed, Blues.
Get him out.
They will stop dropping in the world after you have hit
The number of times
soft
those goddamn Blues pushing something special out of my postmaster. Screw you, Blues.
Yeah.
That's true. Yeah.
Need my stack of 10 golf balls back.
They're also adjusting all of the gunsmith reputation gains by plus 25% to compensate by removing gunsmith reputation from dismantling blue gear.
Makes
Cool.
sense.
Rumble's coming back as an
Yay.
actual selectable thing. That's good.
Cool.
Catalyst quest for the year 3 season pass exotics, Ariana's Vow, Symmetry, Tommy's Matchbook, and Witherhoard will now benefit from the season pass boosts like other exotic Catalyst quests.
Nice.
Additionally, any seasonal ritual playlist activity will count towards ritual progress for the season pass exotics. That just makes sense.
Common sense.
Next.
Easier exotic glaive crafting. It gets easier.
Excellent.
Yay.
Easy button.
This seems like, bro, ain't nobody got exotic glaives because no one can be bothered doing it. We probably should make it easier.
Yeah.
They look at the data, they're like 10%. Oh, that's pretty low.
Yeah.
I haven't got mine. I might get it now.
I got the Hunter one before Arc 3.0 came out because it's an Arc one, and I was like, that might be cool. It's not very cool.
Yeah.
It's not that cool. It's not. The raid, March 10th at 9 a.m.
Nice.
Oh,
What day is that? Is that Friday?
It is a Friday.
that's right before my birthday.
The second Friday in March.
March 10th. All right, so Saturday for me. Woo!
Raiding.
Oh yeah, it is a
Who's
Friday, which people are kind of bummed out about.
Instead of a
Who's
Saturday.
in? I'm in. Tefta, you in?
I'm in.
Think so. Yeah.
As long
is
as the game doesn't suck when
Fry's
Lightfall
not
comes
in.
in. Fry's out.
Okay.
Next.
So when we having
Oh.
tryouts, we got three spots. We got on DCP tryouts. Sweat Lords only.
Yeah.
Joker said he was in.
There you
Tell
go.
us your 10
There you go.
loadouts.
There's
Joker is the gamer. He's the gamer.
yeah.
Sweat Lord.
There's the hardcore
Big
carry you
game.
need right
Sweat
there.
Lord TM
Yeah.
right there.
Yeah,
Day ones. Let's go.
he's gaming. Okay, here we go. Matchmaking. Here we go.
Deep breath, Wax. Deep breath.
Can you just talk us through this? Do you know what this graph is about?
I
I don't get it.
So I asked people who work with graphs in their work or they've studied this kind of thing. Everyone said the graphs are useless. So, what the graph? Anyway, I'll read the thing and then we'll talk about the graph.
Okay.
Okay. Okay. They added fire team-based matchmaking. That was a thing that they added. We saw it in Iron Banner. Blah de blah.
There's much rejoicing.
They're going to be aiming towards get rid of the freelance node, which might sound a little jarring. No, that's literally the point of fire team-based matchmaking.
Mm-hmm.
Because if you are solo, you
It should
load
match
into
you.
the thing, you match solos. Why'd you need freelance? You're just going to
It
be
better
splitting
work
the
that way,
population.
though.
It does. It's very strict. As
Yeah.
you know, Bungie only understands strict matchmaking. So
As you know,
it's
Bungie implements flawless code every single time with these.
As you
Never.
know,
Oh, it's-
Bungie changes
it's
the
just very strict.
matchmaking every year. So getting rid of the freelance playlist, does that mean when they change it again, they're going to bring back the freelance playlist?
Yes. But I mean, fire team based matchmaking definitely worked the way that it says it does. Just having SPMM and freelance and fire team based matchmaking made very laggy Iron Banner. Very, very laggy. That's okay. Just don't talk about it. So they said that after they've gotten sufficient data, they're going to extend fire team based matchmaking to trials and eventually competitive 3v3. That's exciting because that means that if you are a solo trials enjoyer, you can ideally just load up in trials as a solo whenever the hell you want and have the same experience as freelance for the most part.
That's cool. Yeah.
Yeah, that is.
Yeah.
Once we have ironed out the kinks associated with fire team based matchmaking, the next feature on deck is dynamic skill matching. As mentioned before, this feature is geared towards improving matchmaking if you are in a low population skill bracket or during a particularly low population time.
Australia.
Yeah.
Welcome to playing games in Australia.
Yeah.
All the time.
And then now I'm just going to read verbatim because I think their tone is important.
Okay.
This is all to say, we are aware of the current status of matchmaking and we are continually working towards improving our features and systems. We believe we are on the right track and we would like to share some data that makes us believe as much. So I'm going to read to you about what the graphs are, what they say, and then we can put our graph heads on.
Okay.
One such data point is match outcome prediction. We use a particular algorithm that considers multiple variables to predict the outcome of a given match, where 50% prediction accuracy is considered ideal. This would mean both teams are evenly matched and we are unable to determine the winner based on statistics alone. The graph below displays our prediction accuracy for Control before and after Season 18 when we introduced skill-based matchmaking. The drop in accuracy is a strong indicator that our current implementation of skill-based matchmaking is headed in the right direction.
Okay. So the graph shows, I don't know, an average of 65%, then a big drop to an average of what, 59%?
Yeah.
60%?
Yes.
I wouldn't call it like a big drop. I mean, obviously it looks big because of the way they highlighted it.
Yeah,
it's like it's an
depending on the
adjustment.
Pretty small
Yeah.
amount.
Yeah, it's like, okay, so
actuality.
there's 6% less accurate in predicting it, which means that your matches are more sweaty in general because
It could go either way. Is that basically what they're saying?
yeah, they could
They're
go
trying,
either way.
yeah, they're trying.
It could go
they
either way.
can't-
When you load into a
can't-
match, they don't want a predetermined outcome. They want it to be a 50-50 shot at the beginning of the match.
Based on just the stats of who's playing, right?
Yeah.
You can also look at
Okay.
this graph and say, look at the fun drop. Look at that.
Yeah, but 6%
Explosion.
fun in PvP.
I think Watts have more than 6% less fun. It's like 60.
Yeah, it's compounded right there. Compound interest on that. There's a lot of discussions about that. Like higher end players, they don't want anything like this in there. Lower end players appreciate it, so they feel like they're not getting like curb stomped every single time. So
I still think this is the wrong overall mindset to have everything 50-50. Like that it could go either way. Like I feel like you need games where you stomp, you need games where you get stomped, and you need games where it's sweaty. Like I feel like variety in games is more important than every game being a flip of a coin.
I think that's a good word. Variety is like when every game feels like it's down to the wire. First of all, every match feels like it takes forever because they all go like either
all
to
go to
time limit
time,
or to, you're like, if the points go to 60. It's like 58 to 60 every time.
Which is what they've stated their goal for loose skill-based matchmaking
That's what
is
they want.
Right.
under 10-point difference. Yeah.
Which can make, I think, the Crucible feel tedious because you're just constant. Like instead of getting like a few quick matches in, you're getting like long matches in, hard long matches. Whereas sometimes it's nice to breeze through. Sometimes you get your butt kicked, but it's luck of the draw. That's what competition's like.
So here's the thing. I think if they want to go this route, they have to first solve the problem of connections, because as soon as you imply the restrictions of these type of connection or these type of games, your connections usually take a dump. And Watts, you were saying like in Iron Banner, it was just all over the place, right? The connections were
it was really bad. Yeah, it was worse than I've ever seen for sure.
I just don't see how they can further go down this path without solving that in Destiny, which I don't know if that really is solvable with the way their architecture is.
See, this is the thing. Yeah, I would have really liked in this for them to say why were we seeing like these wild connections that we haven't really seen for quite a long time. Like why is that? Like maybe we talk about that for a little bit. Or the graph that I would really like to see and that we've been asking for a long time is player retention. Like how many PvE players are playing more PvP? How much more PvP are they playing? How many new players are engaging with PvP more? Are they going to like trials now that they can enjoy control more? How many people have stopped playing? Like that is the kind of graph that would make me go, this is working really well if more players are playing more because they're having a better time.
Yeah, I agree. I think that's what I would like to see too, is like that, the player population, despite the loudest voices, and we're part of those voices because we're streamers and on Twitter and all this kind of stuff. And maybe we're completely wrong. And if the population is more healthy and it's got more people having more matches, just so happens they don't have Twitter and they don't yell as loud as us, then that's fine. Like
exactly,
great. You're on the right track. But I disagree fundamentally with every game being 50-50.
Well, this is the thing,
painful.
and
unless it's comp, unless it's like a very suspect, like go sweat it out in here. It's a flip of a coin. It's really down to like your skill, like.
Well, this is why Mylan's use of the word variance and variety is exactly like what I've been trying to say to people whenever I talk about this. I play PvP games because there is variety in experience. In PvE, the raid boss is always going to spawn there. This guy's always going to spawn there. Like, it's a very predictable thing. PvP is supposed to be playing against different players, different loadouts, different stuff. It's all supposed to be a varied experience. But not only that, you're supposed to be able to buy into the experience that you want. Do I want to go into ranked and use my best stuff and sweat and be super focused? Do I want to go into 6v6 and relax a little bit more? Do I want to go into like Scorch Cannon and just completely slack off? Like I need to be able to buy into those experiences. But they're putting all of these matchmaking parameters in every single playlist. So everywhere you go, it is the same experience. It would be akin to you load up Destiny PvE, you can only play GMs. There's GMs, that is it. There's no regular strikes, there's no strike playlist, there's no nightfall, there's no raid, there's no dungeon, there's no variation at all. It's GMs all the time, no matter what. And it makes it exhausting. It makes it an exhausting experience no matter your skill level, because if you're a 0.8, you're playing against other 0.8s. If you're a 4, you're playing against 4. It's always going to be really close, really intense, really sweaty, which I am a-okay with buying into that in ranked. But we really need to have other experiences in PvP rather than just that. Because you kill the variety, you kind of kill the fun.
That sounds fair.
Because, you bring out all these new weapons, new armor, new builds, new subclasses. If I can only use this teeny tiny amount, because that's the meta and that's what I need to do in order to like have a fun experience or something, then ultimately what's the point? There's no variation.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. It just doesn't feel like it works in Destiny. The way long term for players to want to grow and maintain momentum in playing PvP. It's just too easy to fizzle out.
Yeah. And I would never want players to have like an awful time in PvP. I think that is great that more people can enjoy their time in Crucible. But there has to be, and I'd used this analogy on stream earlier, not every nail requires the biggest hammer that you own. Sometimes you can use a little hammer. Sometimes you need a medium hammer. You don't need to just full swing everything. It's not all skill-based matchmaking super tight with a 10 score everywhere or no skill-based matchmaking. A lot of people have been for outlier protection, which is skill-based matchmaking. It's just not super strict skill-based matchmaking everywhere. I think that's what most players are just asking for, so we can have some variety and experience. It's because currently it's basically like playing against an AI player because they're all using the same loadouts, they're using the same class, they're moving the same way. There's no variation at all.
I think the hard thing with this conversation is everyone has very varied and different experiences in PvP.
Yeah.
And it is hard to see and empathize with a different player when you get consistently this kind of match and they're saying, well, I get this kind of match, so it's working for me and it's not working for you. And I honestly, like coming back to what we said before, I honestly think what would help is actually seeing some overall stats data on retention, minutes played, new players, like the general health data of Crucible, because that will make it more objective to see, like, is it minority people complaining about this who play a lot of PvP? Is it overall better for the community or whatever, and make some interpretations from that? Because I don't know, I'm generally interested because you do see both sides of the fence. I'm generally interested if there's more people playing Crucible right now than before the changes.
I mean, if they're talking about it, it must be a positive on their side for the data and the player retention, because they're like, if it was bad for the system and if it was tanking it, I don't think they'd be like, hey, our really strict SPMM is making the population drop out. Let's double down on it. You know what I mean? Like, it seems like if they're talking about it, they want to let people know that, hey, we're doing this and it must be
they
working.
May just be
for
waiting
them.
for the new season, the new
other changes
expansion.
as well. Yeah,
that's true. Yeah,
yeah,
so
it's
bringing
it's
in
just
plus
like,
new players in.
I feel like if
check
they
it out.
saw the population bottom out from this type of stuff, they would have to be like, we need to take this out, clearly. But
I think, yeah, I think you're right. I think that maybe they're happier with more people playing Crucible, but playing significantly less games per person. Like, it's better that more of you are going to the Crucible to do your 3 pinnacles and leave than like the PvP players who are sitting there playing 10 hours of PvP are now doing maybe like an hour.
That would be
Maybe that's
silly
better.
because you're talking about the people who have a passion for the game and people who are just doing chores.
Bigger
Well, that's
number,
another side of the conversation.
Bigger number for Bungie's better.
A bigger number is
well,
better.
you know what will be
More
interesting
players
now.
playing is better.
Now that they've changed Pinnacle and GM level, you're going to get a whole bunch of people that don't need to do Crucible for Pinnacles. Like, you don't need to log in and do 3 games to get or whatever it is to get your Pinnacle, because you're pretty, like, I haven't focused at all. I'm already at GM level because of the changes they made to GMs. So that would be interesting when you take out the need to do Crucible, what that starts to look like. Because then you literally have to be
That
going
would be interesting.
for fun. Now you're going Crucible for fun. There's no actually like Pinnacle need, and
that
you're not like you're
50-50
grinding
win
the
rate for
Crucible
fun.
weapon. You're not grinding any god rolls, right? So people playing Crucible now are going in for fun.
That would be interesting, and you know, that's why I really read this and I was like, this is the thing that you chose to show us to say that things are going well with your matchmaking changes. It just felt very disconnected from what like all of us have been saying, really.
But it might not be for the general population. For like
it might not be
the people who aren't watching a podcast about Destiny. It might be those numbers are up, and if they might lose some hardcore players,
people out there.
They might lose some hardcore people,
doing
but
that, like,
the numbers are up.
I think doing that, giving that data gives voice to people who are just, you know, who aren't streamers and who don't host podcasts. Like, hey, statistically, more people playing, staying in it for longer.
That's why I want that data. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's exactly why.
We can be like, okay, fair.
True. If you saw
exactly, this data just
Yeah.
shows we can't predict who's gonna win, but that doesn't show me like anything about the player interaction with Crucible.
True.
Even if that data, though, even if they gave us that data and it showed like, oh, well, 50% more people play Crucible because of the changes we make. Why can't they just have like a couple of playlists that don't have it for the really passionate people like Miss 5000 Watts who just want a place where they can hang out? Like, why can't there be both? Why does it have to
There's
be
no
like across the
variation.
board?
Well, that's the thing, right? Is that I think there's a place for all of these different matchmaking parameters. Although I will say, I am starting to question if Destiny is a game that can have this many matchmaking parameters with peer-to-peer, low population, not pushing PvP. Like, look at all the Lightfall trailers. Where are they like, come play our game to come play PvP? They're not. New players are getting into Destiny for the PvE because that's what they see. So
Yeah.
I'm just starting to be like, can we even have all? Like, is it even possible to have all of this and actually have good connections?
Been saying it for years, man.
You
Netcode.
have, you really have, you have, yeah, you have. Yeah.
Graphs.
So here's the graphs.
What's this other graph?
So okay, Figure B
It's a good question.
displays our prediction accuracy for Glory pre-season 19 and competitive 3v3 season 19. The upper lines are the main Glory and competitive activities, while the bottom lines are the freelance variants. With season 19, we adjusted skill bands for matchmaking in competitive, leading to a significant drop in prediction accuracy, i.e., matches are becoming fairer. Note that there is still a strong discrepancy between the main node and freelance. This shows that it's more difficult to produce fair matches when people are talking and all that stuff. However, that is why testing fire team based matchmaking, we aim to reach a point where matches in the node where mixed fire team sizes can queue together reach the levels of fairness in freelance.
So it's the same graph as above. It's just this is breaking it down into two different.
But this is about the 3v3 playlist, yeah. And then they end with hopefully this provides some insight into our efforts to make the Crucible a fair, accessible, and fun experience for all players. This is an ongoing process.
Okay.
Yeah. That's that.
Yeah, okay, yeah. That's
gonna see need more data, Bungie. Need more numbers, please.
I would yeah, and I'd like to, like, if we're talking about matchmaking and all this stuff, why can't we talk about why things got crazy laggy, or at what point did they get laggy? You know, like what skill band with things laggy? I'm sure it's like, how far at the top do you have to be till things get laggy? How far at the bottom
Does the
do you
game
need to
measure
be?
that? I wonder, like average lag between players in a Crucible match.
They got to keep those numbers to see.
I assume they would know.
They have a tolerance in there of what they're willing to accept, because a lot of it's peer-to-peer still.
Yeah.
I got a comparison. See if this makes sense.
Okay.
I've been getting back into my jiu-jitsu and Muay Thai. Let's say I go down to do jiu-jitsu. Everyone starts off as a white belt. If I only ever get matched with other white belts, yes, we eventually progress, but probably don't progress as much if you actually start wrestling with blue belts and then brown belts and black belts. You see the big gap in your skill and you're like, holy shit, I've got a lot to learn. I've got a lot to train. And I feel like sometimes the same.
Being a blue belt and just wrestling white belts.
Right.
Walking around feeling like a badass all day.
Just exactly. But guess what happens to blue belts? You don't improve when you only wrestle with white belts.
I don't know what to improve. I'm just looking to feel good.
Yeah. So there's definitely portions of PvP community that I sort of want that, right? I just want to feel good. I want to stomp on white belts.
Fryer might be representing a large portion of the PvP population.
But my point is, having higher level opponents, I think, is important for developing skill. And there is a line where you go over where it's like, this is totally not fun. But, when I go to training, it's good. You wrestle some white belts, like, yeah, that's good. I'm doing well. Then you wrestle a blue belt, you're like, oh my God, I just got fucking smashed. I got heaps to work on. But you walk away because you had sort of this experience where you won some, you lost some, you got completely smashed. And I think it applies to playing video games.
I think so too. I think
that's what competition is. You win some, you lose some. You learn to deal with both of them.
Yeah, I mean, like even recently, I played against a player that was significantly better than me, and they were doing stuff that I don't see people do very often.
What are they doing on March 10th?
But they were an arc hunter, which you don't see very often at the moment, and they were doing stuff that I was like, oh, I've never thought of using that like that. You don't get that experience at all with very strict skill-based matchmaking where you never leave your bracket. I wouldn't have seen that guy in my skill-based matchmaking. This was in like trials or something, which doesn't have skill-based matchmaking. And like growing up playing Call of Duty and like seeing people absolutely slay out and me being awful and getting absolutely stomped and being like, what are they using? What are they doing? Where are they moving? Like that made me want to improve. But I don't think there's currently any reason to improve in Destiny at all. And if you do, your connections just get worse. So have fun, I guess. Work to get better so your connections can be worse.
There you go.
And with that, I'm gonna love and leave you guys because I gotta go find a suit for a wedding. Not my wedding, my wife's wedding.
Don't forget to bring beer.
Yeah, maybe I'll go stock the Esky now.
Good idea.
We're about to get to the good stuff, Mylan. I'm glad you were here for the bad stuff.
Yeah, I'll have to watch the VOD, eh? I'll have you on the background.
From here on out, we're gaming.
All right. I'm sorry I got to leave early. Thanks, everyone.
Yeah, no worries.
Bye.
Appreciate you.
Bye. Now we get to the sandbox team and not the rituals team. Which, by the way, can I say, I think it feels a little weird to have one team dealing with 3 parts of your game that are called the core activities.
That is weird.
It's not much of an investment in your core. I don't know. So we're moving on to airborne effectiveness. Woo woo. This is the Destiny Sandbox team. And they are talking about AE. So they say the reason. We've heard your
complaints, and we've decided Guardians can no longer jump. No more need for
the opposite, because the Sandbox team knows what's up. And I'll say, reading this, it's very interesting because it feels like the Sandbox team understands Crucible quite well, whereas. And it's very it's very strange reading these 2 sides of the TWAB because you're like, Sandbox team gets it. And then when you read what Rituals team's saying, you're like, bit confusing.
2 heads of the dragon.
It is. It really is. It's very, I was like, woo, but also like, so it's very strange. It's very strange. So they had 2 primary reasons for introducing AE, and they say that it's important to balance the increasing number of airborne movement options against their combat effectiveness, as we don't want Destiny 2 to shift exclusively to airborne gunplay. And then they also said that in a game where most modes did not have skill-based matchmaking, players using an airborne playstyle could be extremely oppressive. People couldn't look up. They were like, get down, back on the floor. The first reason remains true, but the second has become less relevant as SBMM has rolled out. And despite achieving our goals, the cost in player fun was too high.
Really?
Sometimes achieving your goals lowers the fun of a video game.
That 50-50 win rate. Not too fun.
That's what I was saying. It was really funny reading just because this is like a couple sentences away from that. And then you're like, oh, the cost and fun.
Yeah, here at Bungie, we like to imply a strict 50-50 rule of winning and not be able to predict the match. And then they're like, guess what? The fun's out the window because we got what we wanted. Silly.
Yes. So after observing for a season, we made some updates in each subsequent weapon balance update while starting on a larger rework in Lightfall. We've been playtesting these changes for a while now and are confident we can safely pull them into the Season 19 mid-season balance update, which I think is next week, but I will read it when we get there. I think it's next week. Airborne effectiveness affects the following aspects of weapons. So we already know this. This is firing range stuff, spread angle, magnetism, precision angle, threshold, auto aim, bullet bend.
Yep.
When I point my crosshair over somebody, I want it to hit.
Yeah, I want it to go where the reticle is on the person. That's it.
Yeah.
So they said that with this update coming, you can expect a primary weapon with no investment, so default AE stat of that particular weapon, to be as accurate as a primary weapon with Icarus grip mod equipped before the introduction of AE. Which is pretty good.
Yeah.
That's with no investment at all. That's just you got nothing. That's all you got.
Good.
The auto aim angle is also significantly improved, and the magnetism penalty has been eliminated. Instead of relying on accuracy and aim assist penalties, we're requiring more precision to land crits while airborne. This means your guns will behave more like they do when grounded, except that you must aim right at the head to get a headshot, unless you really build into airborne.
That
That's
sounds
great.
fair.
Okay.
If I'm aiming at the
sounds
head,
fair
I
as
hit
hell.
the head.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Instead of like you aim the shoulder and it.
There should be some like benefit to being on the ground as compared to flying through the air. And if it's a player skill penalty, that's perfect. Like, but the bullet should go where I'm aiming.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And if I'm good enough to aim while in the air at your head, I should get that shot. Like I should be rewarded for that.
For sure. Absolutely, I agree. We still don't want it to be too easy to build into AE with I missed the controller part. One side effect of this change is that airborne gameplay on controller should feel better than ever before, with moderate investment since we've reduced the airborne magnetism penalty. Very nice. We still don't want it to be too easy to build into AE with special weapons, but we believe we have space to reduce the penalties on shotguns and sniper rifles. Yeah, if I'm jumping in the air and I hit a headshot with a sniper, that's just cool.
That's montage right there.
I aimed.
It is cool.
I aimed and I hit it. Okay, so here are the specifics for AE. Primary weapon aim assist. Reduced all primary weapon auto aim bullet bend penalties by 60% at 0 AE for both mouse and keyboard and controller. Pretty big difference. Increase the precision angle, how far off the head target you can be and still get a headshot, by 50% at 100 AE.
Okay.
Change the curve to be exponential so you get more benefit at high AE for M&K and controller. Removed all additional primary weapon magnetism penalties, which is your reticle friction, the thing that when you go over a person is sticky. And at 60 to 100 AE, you get a magnetism bonus compared to pre-AE for controller only. Or if you're using one of the many tools that gives you both.
Nice.
Reduced airborne accuracy penalty for all primary weapons per type. Hand cannon, sidearm, 60%. Auto rifle, scout rifle, pulse rifle, submachine gun, 20%. 30%. And then special weapons, sniper rifles, and slug shotguns reduced base airborne accuracy penalty by 50%. And then pellet shotguns fully removed airborne accuracy penalty.
Wow.
Boy.
Yeah.
Them apes are coming for you.
Shotguns are back.
You can like jump and shoot. Jump and shoot.
They got a boost for slide shotguns too, I think, in this.
They did, yeah. They did.
Yeah, those shotguns are coming.
The shotguns are coming there. I mean, shotguns are always there because it's the easiest kind of thing to use.
Yeah.
So, submachine guns have been heavily dependent on the range stat to be competitive. SMGs with a high range stat easily outclass other SMGs and low range auto rifles and hand cannons. We recently made a change that brought these higher range options more in line, but the difference between them and other SMGs was still too large, and some special case offenders that could hit nearly max range were still a bit too strong. So they've increased damage and aim assist fall off start at 0 range by 30%, and they've reduced damage and aim assist fall off start at 100 range by 6%. Adaptive SMGs lag behind lightweights in effectiveness, dealing more body shot damage but less critical hit damage despite sharing the same rate of fire. To narrow this gap, we've increased their critical hit multiplier, which makes them feel more rewarding in skilled hands and increases their lethality against certain resilience values. Crit damage go up.
Yeah. If you're good with it, you get faster kill.
You get reward. Yeah. We inadvertently skipped Forensic Nightmare when we adjusted the zoom of other SMGs, so they're fixing it. Pulse rifles, what are they doing? There's a big blurb, but I'm going to just go ahead and just read the actual changes. Reduce aim assist fall off start at 100 range by 10%, and reduce damage fall off start at 100 range by 5%. Increase recoil by 20% on M&K only. You get recoil. BXR is by far the most effective legendary pulse rifle, in large part due to being extremely strong up close with the legacy frame intrinsic and highly lethal at long range.
Also,
we felt
it's
that
just
fantasy.
amazing.
It is
It's just
good.
amazing.
It's very good.
It's the
Very
best.
good.
My favorite.
It saved the world multiple times.
It did.
Yeah.
So it's
true.
You know, it's a pretty reliable weapon.
It's also really good in Halo too. So
Oh
you
yeah,
have to use it in that game as well. So.
We felt the fantasy of the gun fit better with close CQB, hipfire, aggressive style of play. So we've brought the zoom down to more closely match standard lightweight pulse rifles, which will open up space for more options to work. So it's just getting its
Interesting.
zoom hit by 2 points.
I'm okay with that. I actually like having a little broader view with that gun.
Yeah, it's also nice to like my play style is being more aggressive, so I'm going to use, the BXR instead of some other one. And I think that's good. I'm all for that. Reduced the season 18 aim assist fall off distance buff for sidearms from 30% to 20%. So they still got a buff, but just less of a buff.
All right.
Because they're doing too good at too many ranges. Dead Messenger reduced wave splash damage against players by 35%. Good.
Okay.
It's really annoying. Dead Man's Tail. Whoo. Remove the damage penalty for 5 stacks of cranial spike. Reduced hipfire and airborne aim assist cone angles by 25% on M and K. Reduced hipfire cone angle bonus scaling from 20% to 5%.
Whoa.
Reduced hipfire precision aim cone angle from 3 degrees to 0.8 degrees.
Oof.
Reduced hipfire auto aim fall off scaler from 1.5 to 111. DMT nerfed.
Getting hit.
That's a
TLDR.
big nerf.
DMT is it's really bad. You pretty much only play against like DMT shoot through overshield titans. That's what the Crucible is. It's just that. That's what I'm saying. AI people. Put an AI into.
Do you think that's going to be enough? Or is it still going to be super
It's
strong?
really hard to say. It's we don't need to like completely murder DMT, but when DMT is that strong, there's really no point to use other scout rifles, let alone like other weapons.
Too much of an outlier. Yeah. It's like, why not use it?
It really is. I was like, oh, let me put on a repulsor brace scout rifle. It's like a solid scout rifle, and it just going up against DMT in those ranges, it's just there's really no point. It's just no point. Perks. They are nerfing Revoker. Now, the reason that people were using Revoker was because of all the Titan walls, and you could shoot them and get your bullet back to delete the Titan walls. So we may not even see that much Revoker anymore anyway. But they said that we decided to cap the maximum return on the Reversal of Fortune perk by requiring multiple misses to return 1 shot. So it now triggers on 2 misses within 6 seconds. So it's going to be impossible to just keep shooting and get your bullet back and shoot and get your bullet back because you have to do 2 shots and then you get 1 bullet back.
I think it's just hilarious that the whole reason was because of the Titan shields. So it's like, let's not do anything about that. But
they also did hit the Titan shields further in here.
Oh,
but I'm like, it might have made sense to do that change and then wait and see if Revoker drops.
Right.
And then they make the Revoker change if you needed to. I don't know. Just a thought. The future. Coming in Lightfall, we're doing a heavy weapon balance pass, adding subclass 3.0 verbs to several exotic weapons, tuning kinetic weapons, and adding a new perk to make kinetic weapons more valuable. In post-Lightfall seasons, we'll be shipping some updates we're pretty chuffed about. That is 100% Chris Proctor. No American says chuffed.
Chuffed.
Chris, you're giving it away with your word usage. Here's the sandbox team. It's just Chris. More substantial changes to weapon hip fire reticles with the goal of exposing more information specific to weapon types or exotic functionality.
Oh, that could be cool.
Yeah. A full auto melee setting.
I don't understand. What do you think this is? Is this an accessibility thing? What is this?
I would assume so.
Yeah.
You just hold it down and you just smack things.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. It's gonna be some like raid thing where everybody's got like smack something 10 times in a row.
It will be good with glaives, yeah. It would be good with glaives and Swords. Yeah, that's true. Yeah, not even necessarily for your melee, but for using glaives and swords, you won't have to keep pressing it.
Makes sense.
That is good. Another set of craftable, reprised raid weapons with an origin trait, similar to what we did with Deepstone Crypt weapons. Regular, seasonal, and mid-season balance updates. Regular updates? Oh, shit!
Expected updates? What?
And then they say here, we also wanted to call out one more change. This time about Titan's Shooty Shield Exotic. So they are increasing the cooldown of the barricade ability while you have Sight and Ramparts equipped by 70%. This is what Bacchus does. Bacchus is like a really strong helmet for your dodge. It makes you do, a pretty cool move. And there's a cooldown to when you start getting the regen. And I think that would work in a lot of cases, like Wormhusk and all sorts of stuff. Increase the amount of damage players deal to a Titan's barricade by 25%. So this change should decrease how often one sees the barricade, as well as add more opportunities for effective counterplay.
Okay. Yeah, so it's a bit of a compromise with the whole Revoker and this to try to balance out the shield thing.
Yeah. Now abilities. In Crucible, class ability uptime has inflated significantly over the course of the last year. So they're increasing the base cooldown of Barricade, Thruster, and Dodge by 20%. Increased base cooldown time of the following class abilities. So Barricade, Towering Barricade, base cooldown increased from 40 seconds to 48, and Rally Barricade is 32 to 38.
Yeah.
Thruster, base cooldown going from 30 seconds to 36 seconds. Marksman's Dodge base cooldown increased from 29 seconds to 34 seconds, and Gambler Dodge increased from 38 seconds to 46 seconds. This will unfortunately make you have to definitely spec into higher mobility, and losing the powerful friends thing plus 20 kind of double, triple, quadruple nerf. The Hunter Dodge. Basically, we can use Dragon Shadow. Then you don't need 100 mobility. There's your options. With the update of the season launch of Season 19, they reduced the linger time of Touch of Thunder's enhanced storm grenades, but this hasn't meaningfully moved the needle. No, it has not. So they're swinging more. So they're reducing the damage dealt by each lightning strike by 25% and making it significantly easier to avoid the roaming storm. So the secondary strike damage reduced from 40 to 30. Added a 0.24 seconds delay between the grenade's initial strike on impact and the creation of the roaming storm. So you can kind of, I guess you'd just be able to, if you dodge that first
Run
one,
away.
you're good.
Predict it and run.
The roaming storm's travel speed now begins at 1.5 meters per second and ramps up over 1.3 seconds to a maximum of 3 meters per second. This previously traveled at a flat 3.5 meters per second.
How fast the Guardians run?
Ooh, I don't know.
No idea.
I don't know.
I don't speak meters, so.
The roaming storm's target search round now increases over 2 seconds after creation, rather than starting at full size. So it's basically like if you can dodge and get away from the first strike, like you can continue to be in that area and not have to completely vacate the premises.
If you're intentionally getting away from it, you should be fine.
Yeah. And obviously, it's still going to be super strong on like a capture point or anything like that, because obviously you'd have to get off the capture point. So it's still going to be useful for that, and it's a very good ability. It will still be very useful for that. So they said weapon penalties to players while sliding. The goal of this change was to reduce the percentage of engagements where the outcome was effectively decided by sliding, especially with shotguns. So they've removed the stability, incoming flinch, and shotgun pellet spread penalties while sliding.
Okay.
And they do say that it's important to note that these are the first steps towards where we want to be with ability potency and uptime. With Lightfall and beyond, we have a large-scale ability balance tuning in the works.
It's interesting. It kind of just feels like the final like nail for kind of reverting back to where we were before they started going to the aerial effectiveness. Yeah.
And yeah, it does. Yeah.
because that just
It was a
killed.
pretty unpopular change, honestly. Like,
yeah,
I can't imagine anybody was happy with that change.
but just now the sliding penalties gone as well. It's like we're getting pretty close to back to where we were.
Yeah,
We are, and and I know obviously you need to kind of, experiment with things. It's just unfortunate that obviously it takes a lot of time and manpower and
Sure,
stuff
yeah.
to put these changes in, and then we're essentially just reverting them. When people kind of universally were like, "We're bringing in this," and we were like, "No."
They're like, you know what? That was a bad idea.
The
How
aerial
about
effectiveness, we
SBMM?
went through this. We went through aerial effectiveness in Destiny 1, and like it was so unpopular, they changed it then. It was surprising to see it happen again.
We kind of went through it at the beginning of D2 as well, because there was no Icarus grip at the beginning, and we were like, we would really like to be more accurate in the air, so they added Icarus grip.
True, yeah. The same thing with SBMM. We've gone in and out of like tight SBMM with Destiny. We just haven't had as much details from them, strictly spelling it out. Now they're like, okay, we literally want to try to have a 50-50 win rate on everything.
Right. Yeah. It's yeah, I think Bungie does tend to do the thing where they do too much in a response to something, and then they have to reel it in, and that's why I would really like updated goals and updated especially updated goals when it comes to stuff like this, because like when they first were talking about their goal for say SBMM, they wrote out all of their goals, which was great. But clearly they've changed what they've done with SBMM as an example throughout the time, that I would really like updated goals when they update what they're doing. Because goals are going to change all the time. You like they said, they hit their goal, but it lowered the funds, so they're changing stuff.
Yeah.
I'd really like updated goals again.
Personally, I'd love to see player population, but I know that's kind of a guarded stat and not something that they probably want to spill too much on publicly.
They can do percentages, though. It's like it doesn't.
That's true.
There are 20% more players in the Crucible
that never played Crucible, but now play Crucible.
Yeah.
And 5% of the players that played Crucible all the time are not playing anymore. Or more.
Or there's 10% more hours played, or 10% higher population of regular players.
True.
Who knows?
Yeah. And also, it is worth saying that you currently cannot check the population accurately, because it's kind of been removed from being able to do that. People have been trying to figure it out by themselves, because they're like, I really would like to know if these changes, and like I'm sitting here being mega sad and about to uninstall the game, is making the game better for like lots of people, because then it's a worthwhile change. But yeah, you haven't you currently can't do that.
Yeah.
Unfortunately. I will say there's the Hunter dodge nerf, like, so Gambler's dodge is going to be 46 seconds and Towering Barricade is 48 seconds. I'm a little unsure about that, just because Towering Barricade exists on the battlefield and has the same cooldown as a roly-poly. And also, Towering Barricade can be useful for your teammates, whereas dodge isn't useful for your teammates. So it just feels a little weird for them to basically have like the same cooldown.
Now, this was strictly for Crucible, right? These adjustments?
This doesn't say specifically.
No, it doesn't say that.
It actually says
no, it says in the Crucible class ability uptime has inflated. Oh yeah.
Yeah. It doesn't I'm pretty sure it's for both, because it does say that we've been playtesting in Lightfall to address some outliers in both PvE and PvP. So I don't know if it's for sure for both. But it kind of sounds like it's for both.
All right. Well, this is one of these things where it's like you have to play it with all the changes, with Strand, with the new mod system, loadouts, and all that to see how much of an effect it's really, or see the type of feel that it has on the combat. I feel like you really notice that. The additional 8 seconds for your tower.
Yeah, and I think that, like, honestly, the biggest problem with dodge was like invis, which they've already nerfed invis. The other problem is like worm husk, but that's a exotic specific problem. You could do the same thing that you've done with Bacchus and with Titans, where if you dodge, you have to wait until your cooldown comes.
Yeah.
It means that you have to build even more so into mobility, and it's kind of impossible to have all meaningful stats.
Yeah.
Unfortunately.
Mm-hmm.
But that is like the big changes. The rest is talking about Lunar New Year. There's an emblem that you can get for free. There's a couple things that
The
you can get in
year
the
of the
Eververse store.
rabbit.
It is. It's Briar's year, baby. You gonna buy
Briar.
that emote, Briar?
Let's
It's
go,
free.
man.
There's a code. Oh wait, no, the emote.
Yeah.
I don't know. Yeah, maybe, probably.
You should
I
get
might
the
that.
shader this week. The shader is
No,
nice.
there's a free code for it.
For the emblem.
For the emblem, yeah.
Oh, I thought it was
And the
for that
emblem's
emote.
really cool. The emblem
Yeah.
is really cool.
Wait, no, there's one for the emblem, but underneath is that the same one? Oh yeah, that's the same one.
There's
So
a shader.
that- yeah,
Briar. This week there's a shader. You should go buy that from Eververse. It's very
The
nice.
shader is really good. You get it with Bright Dust. It creates storms on your armor in some
Yeah.
cases, and on other materials, it gives you like raindrops, like you got stuck in the rain. You
man,
can
that's
put
cool.
together a lot of looks with
It's
that.
pretty
It's very
sexy.
cool.
Makes
You
me
also get
want more like
free
that.
Bright Dust. So you get free Bright Dust.
Mm-hmm.
Free.
Can I have a tiny tangent off the shader? Just a small
Okay,
one.
sure.
Just a smidge. I would really like it, seeing as they're not selling this for silver. They're selling it for Bright Dust and also giving us like free Bright Dust. I would really like for exotic shaders to be a thing and we can earn them in gameplay. Because this shader isn't really giving Bungie any money. And it would be nice for
And you
something
would have spent
that
money on
cool.
that?
I would have played a lot of stuff to earn that shader. Because it's really cool. Like they're clearly putting a lot of effort into it. Whoever is on the shader team is like kicking super ass right now.
Imagine if that was a cosmetic unlock in the Crucible.
Yeah. Maybe people would play comp. Let's go. They feel like comp.
The number of salty comments about having to play comp for a dope shader.
It would be a lot. It would be a lot.
That shader is awesome. I saw it and I was like, wow. This is
I gotta download
sexy.
That. Yeah, it's a good shader.
Mm-hmm.
We got some wallpapers, we got a player report, we've got known issues, blah blah. But then we also have this is definitely worth doing if you are on Bungie.net, Reddit, or Twitter. There is a brand new Twitter account, and they said that our goal this year is to continue improving how we communicate. In the past, we've relied heavily on community manager accounts to share a lot of information. Often it worked great, and we saw that many of you appreciated the additional transparency, but it also created some unfun times for our CMs. Yes, like doxing and death threats and swatting.
Yeah, not cool.
You could say dangerous things.
Mm-hmm.
But also it's just good for like, I can follow this one account, and this is where they're going to tweet additional stuff. You don't have to follow every community manager and have like notifications on for every community manager. You can just follow this one account and know everything. So there you go. It says you're still free to follow me and the rest of the CM gang, but we'll be posting memes and sharing art and having fun. This is the place you're gonna go to get Destiny info.
Good. I think that's a smart change.
It's a good change.
It's a very good change. Yeah, it's the same thing they kind of did with like the TWABs now. You very rarely see someone's specific name. It's always like the Sandbox team, this team, that team. So it's not all the pressure on one person.
Yeah, that's smart.
It's not good.
Mm-hmm.
That's it. We kind of did it.
That was a lot of info.
It is a lot. I'm definitely really looking forward to making brand new builds. Like making builds is probably the most fun that I have in Destiny. And all the changes to the sandbox that they listed are like, these are changes that have plagued Crucible for a little bit, and they're dealing with them. Mm-hmm. So that's
good
great
stuff. Good stuff
overall,
for the most part.
Lots of W's.
Yeah, lots of W's. Looking forward to it. I mean, that loadout thing. Oh my god, it's such a game changer
it's great.
The number of times that I've just been like, I cannot be bothered right now to swap out my loadout.
Yeah.
You know,
I have so many loadouts in Dim.
Yeah.
Yeah. I do hope that there is an API, like there's an API hook for that, so you can kind of like mess with it.
That'd be nice.
From
on
outside
your phone.
Destiny, on your phone or on your iPad or something.
Yeah. That would be cool.
Because it'd be a fun, like, kind of outside of Destiny activity to be doing while you're, doing, like, staying in line at the DMV or in a meeting.
Yeah, it's
corporate meeting.
They said somewhere that there are gonna be more Crucible updates in Lightfall, and I would just say that if there's anyone at Bungie listening to our show, which some people do, I really think that if you have exciting plans for the Crucible, share them as soon as possible. Because I really think that PvP could do with a morale boost, because there's lots to be excited about in Lightfall. Like, the things that I'm reading here are really exciting, but it ultimately becomes less exciting when the state of PvP and the morale of the PvP community is kind of at an all-time low. So if you have something to share that you can share, even if it's just like, this might change, a morale boost would be really nice, because there are a lot of W's here, and it would be really great to have the PvP community also be like, woo, now I'm like super excited for everything.
Yeah. It's pretty unfortunate.
please
I mean, there was just
share.
recently the possibility of a morale boost with the whole comp stuff, and then it was like, no cosmetics.
I literally couldn't find a game the other day when I tried to play.
Oh no, is it really that dead now?
I couldn't find a game.
That's rough.
Man.
So I can't even imagine what it's like for people in like Australia and other lower population areas. You just probably can't find games, not only in comp but quick play.
Yeah, it's unfortunate. Well, do we got time for a few Twitter questions?
You bet.
So it's coming up on 2 hours here pretty soon. So
yeah, let's do.
We did a good
Let's
job.
do 3.
Yeah,
That was a lot to cover in that.
There was a
lot
to cover.
We got lore, we got mods, we got loadouts, we got so much stuff.
Yeah,
we'll do 3. Awesomeness says, so I recently realized that when I hear the word Pope, I think of Pope Bear before the actual Pope.
Yeah.
Is this relatable to anyone else, or have I been watching this podcast too long? No, it's because there
100%.
are maybe 2 popes, but only one of them. I'm not going to say that. Actually, that's
is it Pope Bear?
Yeah, Pope Bear is cool.
Pope Bear is cool.
Pope Bear's never aided and abetted child molesters.
That's true.
Damn.
Can confirm.
Pope Bear also threw up in the bathroom in the hotel.
Yeah, has the Pope done that?
Yeah, has the Pope done that?
Yeah.
Maybe we gotta figure out who actually gets the in front of their name here.
Yes. The
Maybe we stop calling him Pope Bear and call him the Pope Bear.
The Pope Bear. Yeah.
David Snow says, at this point, would dripping PvP entirely be more advantageous to Destiny? I think it means dropping PvP entirely be more advantageous to Destiny. With the limited amount of time they put into it, could dropping it from the game open up a new space for greater PvE landscapes and activities? That would make me super sad, man.
One, no, because and Bungie has always stated this, that like a big part of one of their enjoyment loops, a big thing of their enjoyment loop is taking your gun from PvE and using it in PvP. They've said this for years, since Destiny 1. That's why they didn't want to like super segregate both of the sandboxes, because that is a huge thing for them. And even with no support, no new maps, no new game modes, etc., it's still a very popular playlist. And it's been the thing that has kept the game going through multiple droughts when people don't want to play anymore.
Yeah, that's true.
And like Gambit and Strikes occupy more of the pie for the Rituals team, but I don't really see them doing much for that.
Does Gambit?
So Rituals, yeah. Gambit and Strikes. Gambit, Strikes, Crucible.
Oh, I see what you're saying. As something to do, not the actual updates, because there hasn't really been anything for Gambit. We talk about Crucible, but like Gambit also is practically a ghost town when it comes to any kind of movement.
Yeah.
I mean, like,
yeah. So
I would be shocked if they were like, we're bringing a map to Gambit. I'd be like, get out. What?
Get out of town.
Or even any changes. Actually, I guess there was recently about a year ago with the changes. So
So, even the conversation of like more dev time for PvE, I don't know about that, Scoob, because strikes aren't really getting anything and Gambit's not really getting anything. I don't think it's gonna really improve your PvE when PvP's
Yeah, those core
popping
playlists
already.
all feel dead to me.
The core playlists have been neglected.
I jumped into to Gambit recently. It was popping.
Did you lose a bet?
Gambit Labs coming in band and it's gone.
Zachary Richard says it's the year of the rabbit. So since it's your year, Briar. What New Year's resolutions or goals do you wish to accomplish this year? You guys have any
Gambit,
New Year's
More Gambit
resolutions? Absolutely. I want to
It's
get
the year of the rabbit, man. Year of the
title
Gambit.
that I don't know the name of.
Year of the
You want
rabbit.
to guild your dredging.
That's right. Do you guys have any New Year's resolutions or anything you're working on
More
year?
Gambit.
More Gambit.
Just more Gambit across the board.
I want to consistently upload like hunting type games, Monster Hunter, Wild Hearts, anything in that realm, and Souls games to YouTube, and have that be a thing on top of the usual Destiny upload.
I'll watch that. Did you you streamed Stranger of Paradise, right?
Yeah.
Did you finish it?
No.
Not
There's
yet?
also
are
like
you planning
2
on it?
DLCs and almost a third DLC to get through. But yeah, I'm gonna be playing that almost not exclusively because I wanted to hop into Monster Hunter tomorrow, but I'm gonna be playing that almost exclusively until Lightfall.
I've been working on my health. That really started last year, but it's continuing this year. This year I got a personal trainer to try and do that. He's got me on a pretty strict high protein diet, which to be honest, it's kind of fun.
Yeah.
Fun to think about food in that way. Although I've been drinking protein drinks. Do you guys ever drink these whey protein drinks?
I used to.
Like, they're like shakes,
anymore.
right? They're like they kind of make you mix them with milk and they make kind of like milkshakes.
Mm-hmm.
They make my poop hard and like heavy and dense, like little rocks, man.
Not a lot of
Weird,
like little
fiber.
rabbit poops.
Maybe, but bigger.
Rabbit poops. I mean, if you're on a high protein diet, you probably don't have as much fiber, so you're might be getting.
I'm eating a lot of salad, but I mean, he sets the amount of calories for me, but he says, okay, also put 200 grams of protein in here, and you're like, well, all I can eat is chicken. It's like
200 grams of protein per day.
Yeah, that's a lot.
That is quite a bit.
Yeah. So actually, over the last month, I actually lost quite a bit of weight, but I gained 12 pounds of muscle.
God damn.
That's a lot of muscle. That's working for sure.
So it's the year of getting yoked while playing Gambit. Got it, Friar. Gambit gains.
Guns, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, Gambit guns and Gambit gains. All right.
Very nice. Like that.
That's great, Brian.
Can we do one real quick rapid fire question?
Yeah, for sure.
Three Bros, One Controller podcast says loofah or bar or soap? Dude, I'm a loofah man. I gotta exfoliate.
Yeah, I like the loofah. It is nice.
I have exfoliating gloves that I use. Those are great.
Interesting.
Hold up. Gloves that you put on to then
and you lather it up and scrub your body. It's great.
That's next level.
Next level. I gotta check that out.
It's good.
Do they make those in an extra large?
Probably.
Towel or air dry?
It depends. How cold is it?
It'll take me 12 years to air dry. I don't know what's wrong with my skin, but something's wrong.
Interesting. Never thought about
towel
skin
and then
drying
fluffy bathrobe.
There's a third option.
Man.
There's a third option.
What's that?
Hair dryer.
Hair dryer on your body? That can cause burns. I'm not into it.
Well,
turn the freaking heat valve,
you're
Brian.
not like, you're not right up to your skin. Jesus.
I have a towel, man. I am big on fabric softener on towels. I do not like a scratchy towel.
Oh, no, you don't want to scratch it down.
Yeah.
No. Cookie or biscuit? Cookie.
Biscuit. you know, some parts of the world that's both, right?
That's true.
We don't talk about
Biscuit got both.
Let's
Biscuit's
not
the
start
answer.
that whole conversation.
A savory biscuit is delicious.
Dog or cat?
Both.
Both.
Yeah, man, it's hard to choose. I used to be a hardcore dog person, but I've definitely come around on cats since having 2 here. I really like the cats.
Yeah.
Hot sauce or no? Definitely hot sauce.
I love hot sauce.
I like hot sauce, but I don't want it on everything. And if it's the type of hot sauce that's going to dominate the meal, then I don't know. It's like, depends on the meal, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely.
If it's appropriate, I want it though.
Exactly. If it's common for it, then yes, the hot sauce, please.
I'm not a big fan of these like ghost pepper kind of things though. Like I like hot sauces that have flavor to them and that you can still taste the flavor of whatever you're putting the hot sauce on.
Right.
Once the primary experience becomes, oh, this hurts, I'm out. I no longer want to be involved.
See, that's what I'm saying. If it gets dominated by the hot sauce and then you're just having hot sauce with matter, then yeah, I'm not really into that.
Hard light or sweet business?
I'm going to go with hard light.
Hard
change
light.
the flavors.
Hard.
All right.
Which, speaking of which, are the ones that you can change the flavors, getting a buff, now no match game.
Boom.
Maybe. No, probably not.
Well, it'd still be a buff to coordinate with your build. To synergize
It would
it.
be. That's
All right.
true. Yeah. Borealis
Assuming
feels
anyways.
pretty good if you use it with Arc. It makes it super snappy,
Ooh, nice.
by the way.
Cool. All right. Is that it?
I think
We
we did.
accomplished it. We did it. We got through
We
all this
did.
stuff. Congratulations.
We did do it.
DCP 321 finished. Shout out to our Patreon members and our Twitch subs for supporting the shows. Thank you very much, guys. I don't know when the next firing range is going to be, but obviously it'd be great for all this stuff to get
Yeah.
yeah.
I'm
to
hoping
get
they can get
coned out.
someone on to go through the nitty-gritty numbers, because I do like them having devs on there, because Chris Proctor says a number and a aimed cone thing, and they're like, and we're just like,
we know what you're talking about.
Yeah, they're like, yeah, well, then my calculations correct. Yeah, it's
they're
okay.
like, can you explain that for the non-smart people here?
Yeah, so it's probably going to be a couple weeks,
Dummy
but
subtitles.
be very interesting to see their take on that stuff. But yeah, thanks for watching. Thanks for hanging out. We appreciate it. And Mylan had a dip early because he is
Trying to fit a penguin into a suit or something.
fitting a penguin, fitting his koala into a suit.
He's trying to figure out how to get an extra pouch to take his koala with him in the suit to the wedding.
Yeah, pouch
So he's got to
priorities.
get a custom make.
Custom pouch suit modification.
Yeah. Yeah.
Dig it.
Do they make a 3-piece like a tuxedo kind of thing with a pouch? Can you get that on the cummerbund?
I think that's what
Anything's
he's getting
possible.
done. Yeah.
Yeah.
A pouch cummerbund?
That's the Australian way. They have
Pouch
an
bun.
extra portion of the suit that is pouch.
Yeah, that's an Australian biscuit.
That's where you hold the Australian biscuit. That's okay.
All right, that's it. Bye, everyone. We'll see you next week.
Bye.